Before we start this video, just two quick things to say. First of all, just a quick shout out to Card Otaku Desu for helping me when I sent a friend to go to Hong Kong to buy some cards. So he actually helped a lot in me getting some of the cards in his deck, especially the more shiny ones to represent my love. Look at this. I've upgraded for holos. So yeah, the link is in it. His link's in the description if you want to check out his channel. He's a nice guy. He plays Digimon. If you play Digimon, I hope you don't play Digimon. Secondly, is of course, as you guys probably know, I've posted this from various channel updates, from various videos. My DBT 10 videos not doing very well, so frankly, I'm just not going to cover that much anymore. So I'm going to be slowing down. In set 11, I'm going back to school, so there's a lot of stuff I won't be able to cover. So I will still be trying here and there as to what I can actually do. So do stay tuned and please stay subscribed because I still want to continue sharing content with you guys, sharing my list, sharing what I've tried and what I've not tried, why not? Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Zufo here. Today I am back to cover Feltyrosa, or more specifically, this is finally Rondo Of Plenilune Feltyrosa, which is, Easter Feltyrosa. Yeah, I've been testing this deck to no end. I'm so excited to finally have these cards with me. Yeah, but it's the thing, it's not good. I'm sorry, it's just not that good. Feltyrosa as a deck is really fun, as it always has been. But a lot of the key issues of this deck just straight up have not been solved, even through this cross-ride. The support she got was also pretty good. Both Roswitha as well as Ultra are great cards, but they don't really solve much of the issues of this deck. So today we are going to take matters into our own hands, and I'm going to be demonstrating one way you can actually build Feltyrosa, which is focused around Persona rights. As you know, Feltyrosa can perform up towards 5 attacks, but that's if you're very lucky, or if you just don't break. And even so, it's really hard to actually achieve some of the conditions, but Feltyrosa herself has a new skill to gain 10,000 power, to give your front row ghost 10,000 power if you just have, a Grade 3 Feltyrosa sold. So basically it's just a cross-ride, think of it like, the end and PBO and whatnot. So we're going to be playing this as a more mid-range, kind of slower Feltyrosa list, focused more on strictly just Persona riding. Persona riding is such a huge thing for Feltyrosa because of the innate plus 10k to the front row. So today we're going to be showing off a deck that really abuses that to the fullest. So as you probably guessed, our right deck consists of the exact same old right deck for Feltyrosa. And it's just a really simple list, as you can tell. So why am I still playing the original Feltyrosa right deck? Or even more specifically, why am I playing the old Feltyrosa? Well, I'm going to discuss that in greater detail. Of course, Feltyrosa is Feltyrosa, very nice art. I love her very much. Her skill is basically when rode upon, you Soul Blast 1, choose a ghost from your drop zone, add it to the hand. This counts for any ghost, so triggers 2 perfect guards, whatever, it counts. She has a regular skill, but it doesn't matter. Grade 2 Feltyrosa, when rode upon by Grade 3 Feltyrosa, or just specifically, just when rode upon, you choose a ghost from your hand, put it to the top of your deck, choose a ghost from your drop, and add it back to... choose a ghost from your hand, a ghost normal unit, and put it to the top of your deck. Then choose any ghost from your drop and put it to your hand. So basically, it's a 1-for-1. You get to stack your next card that you superior call through your drive checks, and you also get to recycle 1 ghost. Now, just like the Grade 1 Feltyrosa, you get a choice to actually toolbox your triggers, your perfect guards, whatever. And that's really helpful to help you guard in the early game. And that's because a lot of decks are now quite aggressive, if you've seen the current format, and that's really why I'm just playing this right line. Honestly, there are a lot of people that swear by the Willista right line because it's generally just more plussing. Firstly, why not just play Willista? It's much better of a deck. Secondly, to me, it's just not really my flavor. If I want to be able to toolbox the drop, especially to guard early, I want to be able to do that, and Feltyrosa does that. Secondly, Grade 2 Feltyrosa actually sets up for me a turn 3 multi-attack and built in as part of the deck. Even though it's a net 0, it ensures that I don't whiff, which that's a huge problem for this deck. This deck whiffs. But let's talk about Grade 3 Feltyrosa and why I'm playing the original Rondo of Eventide Moon Feltyrosa. Very simple. Her skill is just when she drive checks a ghost, you can call it to a front row rearguard circle, an empty front row rearguard circle, then you can count last 1 and she gains 1 drive, and then you can just keep repeating this over and over. Why I'm playing this over Plenilune in the right deck is really simple, because you can actually be damage denied. Like, people who have seen Feltyrosa and Daivangasai who have, watched the basic W/Slasher video, who just know what the skill is or worse, packed it themselves and read the card, you already know that to perform your multi-attacks, you need a counterblast. And it can be very easily stopped if you just don't attack into it, or just watch them greed out and use the counterblast early with stuff like Oshron, which does happen. So what happens is then, if you just ride into Plenilune Feltyrosa and you're being damage denied with a counterblast, which can happen more rather than not, then you just lose the game. You straight up just lose the game. I'm sorry, you can't do anything. But with Feltyrosa, the original grade 3, you can still drive check and call your ghost units that you wish to call. Even though you don't get to counterblast to recuperate the drive, at least you still get the extra attack, which matters a lot in this deck, especially when you see that we play a lot of high-powered ghosts that can call themselves, who when they call, they have large amounts of power, they beat the opponent, but then they disappear. They minus you, they go off the board. So that's really the main reason why we play the old Feltyrosa. It's because even if your counterblast denied, you still have a fighting chance to be able to, do a turn 3 multi-attack, even though it's much more less painful anyways, because the ghosts are always disappearing at the end of turn. It means Gandiva actually has very little targets to attack and retire, and for Vermilion as well. So it's like, wow, it's pretty interesting, don't you think? Moving on to our grade 3s, we play 4 copies of Rondo of Plenilune Feltyrosa. We play 3 copies of our original Feltyrosa and 1 in right deck. We play 4 copies of Ingrid and a Regalis piece. Yep, this is the same list I brought to WGP because it's just that fun, it's just that good in my opinion. And as you can tell, it's really focused on Persona Right. We're playing max number of Persona Rights, physically able. Now, why do I say that? It's because Plenilune Feltyrosa has 3 skills. First of all, it's a dress up, so it counts as original Feltyrosa at all times. And it's the same girl, can't you tell? The second skill is that, if you have a grade 3 Feltyrosa in your soul, all of your ghosts in your front row gain 10k. That's really good, by the way. That's a free 10k, just like that. Of course, you have to go through a lot of hoops and loops. Some people are very adamant at playing their more turbo soul in Feltyrosa, stuff like, like it's basically like playing Overlord, all the hatchet and whatnot. I actually disagree this time because this deck is so fragile and this deck minuses so easily that it's just not worth it. Instead, I've seen people straight up say, why even bother play the old Feltyrosa? They straight up cut it entirely and they're like, why not just focus on new Feltyrosa and just play it like just a basic Feltyrosa deck. But to me, I feel that kind of makes it a lot slower. You have to straight up open this card and Persona Right on time so that you can actually get the Persona Right and this effect. But if you just play more copies of Feltyrosa, then it just doesn't matter. So yeah, that's really the reason why. It's just maxing the most number of Feltyrosas possible. Feltyrosa, she's beautiful. Just play more. More of her is always good, right? More of your wife is always a good thing. I think, maybe not. And of course, Regalis piece is just to trigger off the draw and the Persona Right. If you don't get a Feltyrosa, I sincerely doubt you fail it because you got 8 copies of a Persona Right. It's like playing Tegria, but in the small event that you do not succeed, then at least you have a 9th copy, right? And then of course we have Ingrid. Ingrid is a staple in Feltyrosa because she's just that good. What does she do? Basically, when placed on rearguard by anywhere other than hand, you can countercharge 1 and then choose a back row rearguard standard. This works during the battle phase, this works during the main phase. Why does it matter during main phase? Because Plenilune Feltyrosa pays a counterblast during the main phase. And yeah, that's just really important because to multi-attack with Plenilune Feltyrosa, you need to counterblast in the main phase. And by countercharging, you can actually pay off the cost, which is helpful. Also one more thing before I forget, Plenilune Feltyrosa can call to any rearguard circle, not just the front row, and it also counts for grade 3 Feltyrosas. I realized that I took that for granted that you all knew. I should probably state that all the Feltyrosas in your deck are not bricks. You can also multi-attack with them, just that they don't get the plus 10k from her first skill. So yeah, my bad. I that's it from my brain. My bad. Of course, the second skill is Annabelle. She attacks. She gains when she attacks, she gains 5,000 power, and then at the end of that battle, she simply just kapoosh. She just goes back to the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I told you Feltyrosa minuses to do a lot of things, and this is basically it. Your high-powered attackers are like Ingrid. They call, they appear, and then they just disappear. Moving on to the grade 2s. Our grade 2s, we play obviously one copy of Feltyrosa in the right deck. We play 4 copies of Diethylene in the main deck, 4 copies of Roswitha, and 2 copies of Eleanor. Yes, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, how could you afford this? Well, because I've been playing Feltyrosa since set 1. Obviously, I can afford Diethylene, right? Diethylene is a card that I think every Feltyrosa player was scared of losing when they announced the new upgrade form because she's so good. When placed on a rearguard circle, you soul blast 1 if your Vanguard is the original name Feltyrosa, you get to straight up call a ghost from your drop zone to an open rearguard circle. For free! It's like Columbard-ish, but a lot weaker. And the second skill is that, you know, at the end of the battle she attacks, she goes back to the bottom of the deck. Minus again. But you know what? That's alright, because you need to clear the front row. It's just that, you know, you just lose a lot of hand advantage and that you will die eventually to Messiah. So yeah. But it's really good as an extender, as a board builder, as everything. But now that we play Plenilune Feltyrosa with the original Feltyrosa, you will find yourself more rather than not even needing a Diethylene during the battle phase. You will find yourself prioritizing her during the main phase, which is nice, you know. I kind of appreciate her as a board builder more. Using her as a multi-attack extender just feels a bit cheap in my opinion, but hey, you paid good money for the card, you use it. Then of course, Feltyrosa for the right deck, as I've already explained, not much to go through. And then of course, one of our new cards is Roswitha. Roswitha is amazing. Like, she is one of the best cards printed that doesn't solve a problem, but is just so good in a niche. Because she basically fills out the slot I used to play with Feline, and she's basically a smaller copy of Ingrid. When placed from anywhere other than the hand, sounds familiar, if you have a Feltyrosa Vanguard, choose one of your rearguards in the same column as this, stand it, and this unit gains 5,000 power. Now, it's a lot more specific, it's a lot less specific than Ingrid. Ingrid only stands a back row unit because she's the attacker, right? But you can actually call Roswitha behind and then stand a front row unit. But generally speaking, because this is Feltyrosa, your units all die at the end of the battle they attack. She generally just becomes the new attacker, and she gains 5,000 power. So she's 15k, and she withstood the back row booster. Really good, right? Not just that. When she attacks, she gains 5,000 power, and then at the end of the battle, she goes back to the bottom of the deck. A 1-for-1 text for Ingrid. So the thing is that Ingrid was 18k attacker. She's 20. She hits higher numbers than Ingrid, even though she doesn't countercharge. But being a grade 2 with such strong flexibility is insane. I used to have to play Feline in this slot, and Feline, while it was a nice card to have, she just wasn't up to 2022 standards. I mean, she's like a 2020 card if you ask me, but no, this card fills in a lot better. If you're playing Feltyrosa, this is a 4th guaranteed because it's just really that good. Trust Roswitha, she's a great attacker. As this thumbnail suggests, you may be whiffing on a lot of your drive checks. I'm here to help you. Eleanor's skill is that when she attacks, she soul blasts 2 and she gains 15,000 power. And then in the battle that she attacks, she goes to the top of the deck. So a lot of these cards, as you've seen, all go to the bottom, she goes to the top. She defies trends, man. She defies trends. But you know what? That's really good, because that means that when you drive check with Feltyrosa, you get to call her back again. And if you are playing Plenilune, then she is now from a 10k attacker to a 30k attacker. That's really good. But this is all in participation for your turn 4 kill, which is what this deck needs to do, this deck list specifically. It's a lot more slower, but it's a lot more stable in ensuring that during my turn 4, I can really kill. My grade 1s, I play this Feltyrosa in the right deck because I really love this art. This is my favorite Feltyrosa art. I'm so happy I got it in SP. And then of course I have 4 Atrut and 4 copies of Judith. Judith is our Ghost Perfect guard. If you don't play Judith, you don't play Feltyrosa. I'm very sorry, but this card has been reprinted in Festival Collection, so you generally have no excuse to tell me you can afford it because it's also a rare in its original printing, you know. So please do your due diligence, please buy it. Feltyrosa, I already explained what she does, so I'm not gonna explain again. And Atrut is really good. At the end of the battle, she boosts if your Vanguard's a Feltyrosa, counterblast 1 and move the boosted unit into the soul and draw. So she now clears the column for you with a counterblast and draw. So in the turns that you use Plenilune, you basically spend 1 counterblast on Plenilune, and then you can give a counterblast to Ortrud, and Ortrud straight up recycles the attacker into the soul. Why that matters so much is because if you cycle, say, an Ingrain into the soul, you can now superior call her with Diethylene, and then you countercharge and gain power and whatnot. The same can be said for Roswitha. If you call Roswitha by a card effect, she also gains 5,000 power. And you can preserve these attackers from going back into the deck by moving them into your soul. It's quite self-explanatory, really. And it's just that good of a card. Like, you can even save Diethylene if you wanted, but I really wouldn't do that. Another way you could play Ortrud is to slide a Feltyrosa into the soul, and then your Plenilune Feltyrosa will trigger. Yeah, that's one way you can do it, and it is a way, it is an option for you. So, yeah, you can certainly look into that as well. Ortrud as a card is just amazing. It is a must play in every and all styles of Feltyrosa, even more than Roswitha. So, if you learn anything from this deck profile today about Feltyrosa, it's not that she's bad. I mean, she is kind of bad, but her supports just really help her so much in the wrong direction. They don't solve her problems, but they're just so good at what they do that you're gonna want to pick it up. Moving on to our grade zeros. Our grade zeros, we play our Feltyrosa starter. Why wouldn't we? We play one over trigger for Ghost Heal because we need the Ghost name. We play 4 draw because it's a Peace Reliant deck. And then we play 7 crits because this is, still Vanguard. And of course we have 4 Ghost crits inside. Yeah, I don't need to explain this. It's relatively simple. It's a lot like my previous Feltyrosa deck profile. Links in the description. Yeah, this is a Peace Reliant deck. You're going to want to draw. No matter what you say, it's just that much better. So yeah, just play 4 draw. I don't think you need more than 4 in my opinion, because you don't want to just be drawing cards you actually want to kill. Crits, because why not? And it's a ghost at 4. The heals are also ghost heals. And then of course we have our over trigger. I choose this over trigger over either over triggers from this set. So neither am I playing the blue or the red over trigger from this set, which is Festival. And I have a picture of them. I have. Because I bought the boxes. I bought so many. I opened the box on my channel so you can check it out. So yeah, I still prefer this because it gives all of your rearguard circles basically a force marker, which is broken, right? Especially because Feltyrosa is a multi-attacking deck for her rearguards. So you have no excuse to play this. I really can't see any reason you would play any other OT unless they straight up power creep this. And that wraps up my Feltyrosa deck profile for Easter. Yeah, I am just really happy that I'm finally able to own this deck. I really love Feltyrosa, in case you can't tell. But the deck is definitely a lot more playable. I will not deny that. I really enjoy playing it, even though it has its frustrations, even though the deck can completely whiff and fail the drive checks and whatnot. It's still fun. Feltyrosa definitely received enough support to stay playable in the year 2023, which is cool because I can't say the same about Regis and Regis as well as Zorga, who straight up got budget and reshaped for the masked format. But I will say for the 5 Easter girls, some of them ate pretty well, and some of them are just like Feltyrosa, just getting along just fine. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, I'm going to try and see if I can actually review a second lyrical deck, but because festival rates are just not very nice to me, frankly, I don't know if I can. Knowing my priorities, Feltyrosa is obviously the deck I choose to review first. It's the deck that I could obviously afford, or more rather, I made it so that I could afford. But I don't know if I can cover another lyrical deck, so I'm just going to try and see. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.